2020 has been an enormous year of disruption, and one of the industries that really got belted well and truly was the music industry. And I thought, let's go out and pick the brains of someone who's been in the industry for the better part of 40 years. His name is Peter Vox, or Shkudelski, but he's been a teacher, he's been a performer, he's travelled and circumnavigated the world, he's teaching. He's got an online program we're going to talk about. But Peter Vox, welcome to the program.
Thank you, George.
Having you on TheInformer is, I think, really key right before Christmas. Just to give us a sense of how the music industry has changed, not only in the last 40 years, but how it's morphed in the last 12 months alone, and how difficult it is to do what we once thought was a pretty natural thing to do: pick up a guitar, find out how to play it, and on it goes. So give me a sense, where should we start? Let's go back 40 years ago. Where did you start? What were the origins of your journey in this odyssey into music?
Well, quickly started off at primary school, choir, bands through high school.
But you fell in love with it, right?
Yes, I love music. Yeah, definitely. Music is you can't live without music.
No. So it was the key that drove everything else.
Yeah, definitely.
But you took it beyond that. The love became part of your driver, and you became a teacher. When did you decide that there's more to just playing? I can teach too.
Probably when I come back from the United States. I was teaching part time, and I felt I was really rewarding. So I sort of wanted to continue doing that more so than performing. So yeah, that's where I've got a passion for it. I found it easy as well too. It wasn't hard for me. It was like I can get people to do things with their voice. And improve people's voices very quickly. So I found it very easy and natural to do.
What was it like performing in the States? Very different scene?
It was more dog eat dog because there were more bands. So it was...
And a huge audience.
Huge audience, more opportunities, but it was harder because, in Los Angeles, they're not just like in Melbourne, there might be, 5,000 bands, but in Los Angeles, there'd be, 50,000 bands. So there was more competition, so you had to be better and market more. And
did they understand what Australian was 40 years ago?
They did, yeah, really from Crocodile Dundee and AC/DC. So that was really our two big points back then when I was in America. That they're the only two things that people
exports worked really well, put Australia on the map, so to speak, in music and in film. You're right, absolutely. So you've come back. And you're enjoying imparting the knowledge that you'd gathered for yourself and learnt over the years.
Yep.
Okay, so now fast forward. We're coming over the last 10 years, the last 5 years, and the business is still evolving and changing at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yep.
You couldn't sit still. Status quo doesn't work because that means you're going backwards.
Exactly.
So what have you been doing? What's been the big catalyst that's changed music over the last few years?
Technology and everything going online. So everyone's putting their music online, so it's easily streamed on different platforms, YouTube. Everyone's got Facebook pages, so it's more easily accessible now, more so than in our time going out and buying the vinyl and putting it on.
But if I can take a leaf out of what you just said earlier, you went to America, you saw thousands of bands the competition enormous.
Yep.
With online, that's the same thing. You almost get lost in the ether, don't you? It's so much harder to stand up and make a difference. I would have thought with so much more opportunities, there's always so much more going on around you. A lot of white noise. How do you stand up? How do you make a difference?
The cream floats to the top, so obviously writing great songs is really the main point. And the AR guys are still out there, artists and repertoires from, it doesn't need to be record companies anymore, but Usher or whatever it might be. I think that's what happened with Justin Bieber. He came third in a singing competition. And someone said to whoever signed him, was it Usher or Jay-Z?
Yeah,
said,
Usher.
Check this guy out. You had to look at him, and the rest is history now. So you've just got to put out your art and to the best of your ability, and you'll end up getting seen. Just keep on putting it out there, and keep on
Do people understand what commitment and focus is today, the way that you understood it?
No, there's a lot more distractions, George, now these days. There's phones, so it is different. It's harder for, particularly I think, younger people to stay focused these days on one thing.
So how do you get them to focus?
Goals, chunking, small blocks of things about what they have to do, setting goals weekly, short and long term with my students.
What do you want to see? Enormous potential? Or do you want to see some potential, but enormous focus and drive?
More of the latter.
More
Definitely.
of the latter.
Yeah.
So it's still all about putting the work in and caring enough to make it as good as you can make it.
For sure.
Wow.
Hard work will always beat talent all the time. It's great to have talent that's going to help you out, but if you just be patient, work a little bit on your craft every day, you'll be successful in whatever aspect of life you want to work on.
Now, catalyst called COVID. Yeah,
Yep.
that boosted online even more because we were cooped at home, we were cooped in our states, in our cities.
Yep.
So you've got this 5-minute on. What is it? This 5-minute online.
I've got a YouTube channel called The 5 Minute Singer, which answers questions regarding
So
everything
it's
to do
the
with singing.
5-minute singer, is it?
That's the YouTube channel. I've got an online singing course called the Ultimate Online Singing Course.
Yeah,
So-
okay, how did that evolve? What was the idea behind that? And who do you pitch that to? Is it for the young kid, the first timer?
Everyone. Yeah, there are 4 courses, entry level, intermediate, advanced and professional.
Okay.
So they're pitched to everyone, from children to adults.
Can you teach an old dog any new tricks?
Yep, as long as you can speak, you can sing. But singing in key is the big point. So, yeah, as long
So
as
my ear has to be good, has it?
it has to be relatively good, and you can train it again as well too. So, yeah. you
Okay,
can.
well, we might be talking because I've always had a passion deep down just to be able to sing. Maybe over Christmas, a couple of carols, just to not embarrass myself.
Yeah.
So you still think it's possible?
100%. Yeah, if you can speak, you can sing. You just got to be in key. Key's the big thing. So start with small songs with small interval jumps. Don't go and do these big jumps like the Ariana Grande's or Mariah Carey. Stick with small songs.
Yeah, but
small
you see
intervals.
Australia's Got Talent or you see American Idol and they roll out the talent and the first thing the talent does is go through a series of gymnastic performances and the crowds go simply wild.
Yep.
So how do you hold them down and say to them, first you've got to walk before you can run?
Well, exactly. That's the exact point. Patience is a big point that I think everyone needs to.
Do they listen?
To develop.
Peter, do they listen when you tell them? Patience.
Some do, most don't. But as you know, you've got to have patience in this industry. You didn't get to where you are today without working really hard from the ground upwards.
But you've had good people around you. Tell us about, if people want to know more about the Vox setup, how do they go about it? And what's the best way to reach Peter Vox and see if he can make you to sing like a bird?
Yeah, Vox Singing Academy. So look that up on the website, voxsingingacademy.com.au. And you can get all of the links and info there about all of
YouTube?
We've got 2 YouTube channels, the 5 Minute Singer and Vox Singing Academy as well too. So check those out. So yeah, they're great sources of free information.
My people will talk to your people real soon, Peter.
Excellent.
Peter Vox joining us on The Informer. And yes, you doubted it all your life. You wanted to sing. Peter Vox can make it happen. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, George. Thanks for having me.